where he used the all soft tissue quadriceps tendon, and we have to agree that compared to grafts with a bit of bone in them, soft tissue grafts are more convenient. You can bend them in whatever direction you want. With hamstrings, you can use a 5-strand, 6-strand, 4-strand, any kind of a construct. And quadriceps is recently emerging as a good graft. So how does quadriceps compare to hamstrings? If we look at the basics, the mechanical properties of grafts commonly used for cruciate ligament reconstruction, Young's modulus, change in length over unit length, is the highest for quadriceps, and it is the lowest for hamstring. The collagen quality is also a little bit different. Quadriceps has the tightest collagen bundles, whereas the most uniform arrangement of collagen bundles is actually with the BTB graft when it is loaded. However, if you look at the linear modulus of the ACL, it is actually far lower than all of the 3 grafts that we commonly use to reconstruct it with. And the reason for this is pretty obvious. ACL is a ligament and these are all tendons, so they will have a higher linear modulus. ACL and PCL collagen strength is also considerably less than all the 3 grafts commonly used to reconstruct it. However, the arrangement of collagen fibers in ACL and PCL is more dense than any of the 3 ligaments. The linear modulus of the PCL is actually higher than hamstring. BTB graft is the graft which matches it the best. And these are values at time 0 when we put them into the knee. So we don't know how these values change with the process of ligamentization. This is an interesting study. So we generally tend to believe that quadriceps tendon, hamstring, BTB will all have different types of collagen. But this was not found to be true. All the 3 grafts have similar percentages, around 83 to 85% of type 1 collagen. And this roughly matches the percentage of type 1 collagen in ACL. So you could choose any of these 3 grafts if you are looking at the type of collagen. One area where the quadriceps graft scores over hamstring is when you want to use it in an adolescent patient or in the immature skeleton. It is important to know that all pediatric grafts are weaker than their adult counterparts, but hamstring is the weakest. And that is because in a child there is more type 3 collagen. Now, the other thing to consider when we are taking a graft is donor site morbidity. Now, the donor site of morbidity for hamstrings is very low. Only high-performing athletes may notice a reduced flexion strength in the knee at 90 degrees and above. So, a lot of indigenous sports like kabaddi, where the opponent will grab you by the foot and the knee is bent. So, you need good flexion strength to succeed in a sport like kabaddi. Hamstrings have the potential to regenerate. We saw Dr. Prathamesh who preserved the lamina, and therefore quadriceps will also have the potential to regenerate. This is an interesting study, and there's another paper I read recently, which I'll just speak to you about. It's not there in the slide. So even after a decade of ACL surgery, there is still muscle loss when it comes to quadriceps and hamstrings. All of them have atrophied muscles, and Hammer group is a group which studies hamstring graft after ACL surgery. They published their initial results in March 2025 AJSM. In elite athletes, 2 years after ACL reconstruction, there are persistent muscle volume loss in the quadriceps, muscle volume loss in the hamstrings and in the calf. Ironically, the peroneus muscle was found to be hypertrophied. So this is a note of caution to people who like to use peroneus longus as a primary source of graft for ACL reconstruction. The peroneus actually hypertrophies, and if you use it as a graft, God knows what will happen to this particular adaptation. So quadriceps with bone is 4 times more likely to cause patellar fracture. So this is something worth keeping in mind if you plan to harvest a quadriceps graft with a patellar bone plug. It is also twice as likely to cause quadriceps tendon rupture. So these are common complications of the quadriceps graft which are useful to keep in mind. And the rehab is a bit prolonged. The Hammer group found that the atrophy pattern after hamstring graft is most in the vastus medialis and the lateralis. The rectus is spared. So if you take quadriceps as a source of your ACL graft, the rectus is directly affected, and your patient must be prepared for a prolonged rehab. The nature of the rehab is also different, but it's beyond the scope of this talk. However, it does give the advantage that there is significantly less kneeling pain. Now, how do the results tie up? This was published recently in Arthroscopy 2025. This compared hamstring autograft with tibialis anterior allograft, and this showed that lower muscle strength was there with the relook graft evaluation. Generally, studies have found similar associations, similar outcomes both with hamstrings as well as with quadriceps tendon. Something known as the hamstrings quadriceps ratio is obviously better with the quadriceps tendon, and this contributes to limb symmetry index after ACL surgery. There are no significant clinical differences when you compare all the three grafts. But here, the question that we must ask ourselves is how much percentage of our patients get a hamstring graft 9 mm or more? At least in my practice, it's a minuscule percentage which get 9 mm or more hamstring graft. Usually, the average hamstring graft size varies between 7.5 and 8 mm. Some studies have explored the use of both. So you can augment a weak hamstring graft with a quadriceps, a superficial lamina of quadriceps graft. So that is something to look forward to. And if you look at randomized controlled trials, the results are comparable. Some groups have a publication bias, so some groups will definitely report a better outcome with quadriceps graft. So quadriceps, one must be prepared that it's a long haul. It may take up to 1.5 to 2 years for the full extensor strength to recover. So where does that leave us? At least in my practice, like Prathmesh mentioned, I am patient-specific and sport-specific. This study used hamstring graft in a group of elite skiers. More than 90% of elite skiers received a hamstring graft because skiing is a sport which depends a lot on the extensor mechanism. So if your patient is a professional athlete who uses a lot of extensor mechanism, look at the flexor compartment graft. So patient-specific and sport-specific perhaps is the best approach to go. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, sir.